Okay.
Yeah.
Alistair,
So,
you have to book your tickets, huh?
yeah.
Wait. Money fund has to be transferred from petty cash.
Lovely. Deep, can you give me please the sharing rights?
Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Okay. So, attendance, Chetan himself is absent today. आने वाला नहीं आने वाला Chetan? Any idea? Chetan, any idea? Anyone? Anyone? Any idea? No.
I'll call and check.
Okay. ठीक है. Super. So, punctuality, we'll give them a funny name. So this time we have to give Vishal, Jones, Maria, Zian. We have to decide their name. Next class when they come, we have to call them by their names. Uh, Homework, we will check on that. And if you're not attentive, you'll pinch your nose till your face turns red. Okay. So at that particular note, let's quickly start our session today. And let's check on the homework. Did we get a chance to do the assessment with our teams?
Yeah.
Okay. How was
So
it like?
we, I,
Did we figure?
I think,
Ah,
I mean, most of the stuff we do most of the time. There's only something which we lack at some time. So I've kept 2 points, which is absence of trust and inattention to result. So
okay.
these two things I feel, I mean, there's a gap always. It's not
Mhm.
100%.
Okay.
When it
And
comes
how
to
would you plan to address that?
so one is, I mean, we started delegating to people more,
Ah,
taking feedback as well as giving feedback to the team,
mm,
and more of an open discussion with them, a two-way conversation. So by this, we also build the trust, and also
lovely.
we understand what they think
Mm,
about their own whatever stuff they are doing.
okay.
Uh, in attention to result is, yeah, we skip appreciating people most of the time, right?
Ah,
That focuses on like small things which comes in the group. We don't they at the bottom level of the staff always expect the higher level to appreciate rather than not only the middle management or the senior management.
yeah, yeah.
That focus is on. So we don't meet everyone on daily basis, but at least in groups we start appreciating, and
Super.
this will continue to go on.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you, Alistair. Anyone else who tried it with their teams?
I
Kya
couldn't.
baat?
I couldn't get the opportunity to try with my team, but
Okay. No.
I've taken. I'll try it mostly this week then.
Okay. Okay. Ikram, any idea? You got a chance? No? No problem.
So
Tyson?
it was a little lengthy, doctor, for me. But I and also don't have, like, 2 or 3 guys who are so good to understand this in English. Would it be possible to get the same in maybe Hindi or something? Just to
Uh,
because I mean, it'll be unfair if I do it with 3 people and then 2 people are left out, man.
okay. I'm not sure whether I can get it for you in Hindi, but are you
Or
okay with it if I convert the entire assessment into a voice note and explain it to you?
yeah, that will also work. But
Yeah.
I will have to do that. The questions are very important, what they choose.
No. So what I mean to say is the entire assessment which is there,
Achi.
section by section, मैं आपको voice note बना के दूंगी. So you give the assessment to your people and let them mark it once they hear the voice note.
Okay, that works for me. I'll definitely appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll try and do that today itself and I'll send it across so
yeah,
that, before the next week, at least you have an opportunity to run it through them.
yeah. Because they were asking me questions as to what is this question mean, and it's a little tough. So I may need that help. Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
doctor.
ठीक है, I'll try and do that. I'll send it to you, and I'll do it in a manner where um it looks like a virtual assessment where somebody is talking to you and you're actually assessing it. Having a paper
Super.
in front. Done.
Super.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Thank you,
Lovely.
doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else who got an opportunity to do? Saurabh, मौका मिला? नहीं? No problem. Vikas? नहीं, no problem. विशेष? मौका मिला करने का? नहीं?
No, unfortunately,
No
I could.
problem. No
Sorry.
problem. दिलजीत? आप म्यूट पे बात कर. अभी भी म्यूट पे हो.
Okay, so let me,
हाँ.
yeah. So we had a little chat, but not with all the questions, but what I could relate in form of a briefing. So we have a briefing model in every day in the restaurant. So in that, we acknowledge and found and have felt the accountability which people are eager to take up, and the only mode of giving back in terms of acknowledging that accountability through mode of appreciating always and whatever decision that the team is taking. Now, there can be small decisions to go and say to the guest something and give extended a discount or a dessert or something, which people have or a team member has started taking by themselves.
Beautiful.
Understanding the requirement on the table. So
Hmm.
that small little decisions, and they're a little confused about whether I have done it correct or not. Acknowledging that fact with appreciation, I think that where they felt they are, accountable for
Lovely.
whatever they're doing on the
Oh,
floor.
super. I think also, Diljit, a lot, when I hear you, a lot also comes from the fact that what kind of psychological safety net have we created for our people? When somebody has done something, whether it is right or wrong, okay, if he has done something, taken an effort to do and make a difference, he's tried to take that ownership, tried to take that accountability on himself, and you start appreciating what he has done. And in case he has done something wrong, inform him that, I'm glad that you took this ownership, but this could have been done this way, and this is where you went wrong. But next time, be careful about it. It gives them the power to do mistakes more. And
Perfect. Yeah.
at least attempt to do something. Super.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Bilal, any chance? You got a chance to see the recording? No worries.
Not really,
Hisham,
ma'am, but I'll go through it.
definitely. Thank you so much. Rajiv, Hisham, anyone? Done?
Uh,
Nahi? Mauka mila?
sorry, I haven't
No
got any
worries.
time.
No worries. Perfect. ठीक है. So let's jump into our session today. And Hisham, whenever he comes on camera, please keep a track record. We have to make him sing. Okay. Fantastic. So we're going to begin our session today. And today I'm going to start the session with a story. Okay. So very recently, like as of yesterday, I had gone to Chennai. Okay. And when I went to Chennai, it so happened that because of the back injury that I have, I decided to not take a small vehicle, but take a SUV kind. So Uber XL is what I took. And when I booked a Uber XL, a beautiful Ertiga came in front of me. It pulled over. He asked me for the OTP and he said, "Are you so and so person?" And he was trying to communicate in Hindi. Because when I called him up, I asked him which pillar. So he told me I am on pillar number so and so. But his English obviously was something that I could understand. He's like really struggling. So moment I reached there, I asked him, "Bhaiya, kaun sa pillar number?" And he understood I am a Hindi speaking person. Although it was in Chennai where Tamil is something that 90% of them speak, he did that. So I was very comfortable. He carried my bag, he put it inside and all that. When I sat in his car, something was not like the normal Chennai cars. There was something different. And what was different was number one, the cleanliness in the car. Absolutely impeccably clean. Although it was raining in Chennai when I went, so it is obvious that car bahar se to kharab ho hi sakti hai, but it was impeccably clean, even outside, even inside. That was one. There was a very light, mild, lovely fragrance that was coming in the car. I mean, it was not that strong flower fragrance, but something very mild. And there was very soft music which he was playing in the car. Now, while all this was happening, he very sweetly said, "Ma'am, you've come by flight. Water rakha." That's all he said. So there was a canned, what do you call, sealed Bisleri bottle, small bottle. He had kept it over there. So he said, if you want, you can take that. And there was a nice box of tissues which is kept. What surprised me the most was he had kept a very cute small dustbin right in the middle of the seat, between the front and the back, the center place. He'd kept a very beautiful dustbin. So when I saw all of this, I was pretty amazed. And I very casually told him, I said, Chennai, first time, beautiful car. I mean, that's the way I try to communicate with him. So I said, Chennai, beautiful car. So I said, how you keep cars so nice? So he surprisingly, what he told me is the car has been driven 1.7 lakh kilometers in like 30 months of his service over there. He's like, but every day I drive as if it's a new car. So I said, that is very nice. I like the philosophy that you have and very nice. So he said, initially I started with this cab service. That time, lot of customers used to come. But cab services don't pay very well, madam. The 30 rupees kilometer, 20 rupees kilometer also, they sometimes don't give. Long distance, I don't get money. But in this 30 years, what surprise he told me was the number. He said he has 1,600 loyal customers. He said he very rarely uses Uber and all these kind of services because 99% of the time he has customers which are there. So I asked him, I said, how come today, you are here to pick me up from a Uber? So he said, I came to drop a customer where your pickup is next building. I have another customer for pickup. So I thought I will take this ride. I was pretty impressed with whatever he said. But one thing that triggered in my mind was it was not his car. So I asked him, it's your car? He said, no, my owner's car. I give rent for this car. Every day I get new car. And every day his car is impeccably clean. So what surprised me was why would somebody go that extra mile to do that? Now, what I want you all to tell me is, according to you all, when you heard this entire story, whatever has been brought to you in front of you, I want you to tell me one very simple thing. What does Sunil's this particular behavior teach us on two parameters? One, standards versus ownership. Second, task completion versus care. What do you think this little story of Sunil teaches us or talks to us about when we look at it from this perspective? Okay. So, according to you, what comes to your mind when you listen to a story like this? Somebody who doesn't even own the car, but he's the one who's actually going that extra mile and doing it. Okay. So, very quickly, just a 2-minute discussion in the breakout room. And I'm not even going to create two different breakout rooms. I'm going to just put all of you all in one single room so that you all have your conversation and you all come back. Okay. Hi, Roland. Good morning. We were missing the rickshaw. Super. Welcome back, everyone. And let's hear what did we discuss? What's the discussion like? And according to you,
Billu bhai.
So we kind of shortlisted couple of points, right? There was one way where he was obviously keeping his standards up to a certain mark, where regardless of whose car he was driving or what kind of it was, he kept the standards pretty high. I think belongingness is a very strong word that everyone felt that he made sure that everyone felt they belong here in a good way. And then third point was more than the satisfaction, it was the customer delight that he was chasing for either personal gain, financial gain, or whatever reason. But unintentionally, it's the customer delight which was always in focus. I think this is
super.
what the three primary points I would take away from what we were discussing.
Super. Great. Now tell me one thing, while we are talking about these, and I totally agree with what you're saying, whether are we following a SOP standard operating process, this is what it has to be, or are we taking ownership for what we said? Like, just now Diljit was mentioning, or one of you was mentioning, right? Whether we are giving extra dessert to a customer or we are taking that ownership of taking that particular action. Is it a tick in the box activity or are we genuinely doing it from our heart, understanding what the customer does? That's number one. Number two, are we even celebrating, what we are, our little wins? Are we even recognizing those little wins? So my question to all of y'all is, what do we reward more in our teams? Do we really reward efficiency and task completion, or do we reward genuine care that builds relationship? What do we typically actually take time or take efforts or go that little extra mile to reward? What do we generally reward in our teams? Efficiency and task completion
Yeah,
more, or genuine care that builds relationship more?
generally, whatever's been trackable is being rewarded, and
Ah,
what happens on the floor genuinely is not trackable
oh, that's not trackable. And why would you say it's not trackable?
because it comes from person to person. It depends on every
Correct.
person who
But
takes interest
say,
and
for
he solves
example,
that problem.
okay, tell me something, Alice. Just say, for example, you observed something. Maybe you're not tracking it, but you observed something. Would you recognize that more compared to he followed the process and the protocol? How would it work?
That we do. See, that we do on case to case basis. But on a overall reward program, what is there currently, it's always on what is being tracked.
Okay.
Say for
So,
example, an outlet, there is someone who's taking interest and is doing multiple things. He gets a clap. But an outlet has a reward program every month. Say we give 10,000 rupees as a reward if the rating is high. So the outlet rating is high. That is which is tracked.
no, no. So I'm not talking about that. Okay. So let me clarify this. My question to you is, as a team, when I say the word reward, I'm not talking about a monetary gain or stuff like this. I'm talking about recognition that we do. Are we recognizing effort and task completion more? Or are we recognizing genuine care that builds relationship more? Where are we actually acknowledging and applauding?
Ma'am, for me, it is efficiency and task completion is a KRA as it is. Meaning, तुमको
Hmm,
तो खाना
hmm.
बनाना ही है and स्वादिष्ट होना ही चाहिए. So I think for me, it is the latter part which plays a very important role, rather than
Correct.
the first part. So honestly, efficiency and whatever Alistair said is trackable for sure. Because if I do not deliver what is the SOP, then so I'm in deep trouble, right, with my employees
Mhm.
and everything. So I think I fall onto the relation building side, because I
Okay.
think that is where I can
Super.
my care is start. Yeah.
Perfect. As an organization, what kind of a culture are we kind of embarking on, or what are the kind of culture we would want to go ahead and push for?
The second part, not the
Definitely
first
the
part.
second one.
Should be a
But
mix,
are we
honestly.
doing that as of now? Are we actually taking in efforts to doing that?
A little, ma'am. Not. I would say very, very little. In terms of numbers, if 10 was the largest, I mean, if 10 was the higher side, I said we would probably fall between 7 to 8. We need to work on 3. Yeah,
Ah,
3 to 4 notches up. Yeah.
okay.
See, what
Got
happens? What happens? There are two scenarios. One is an outlet manager or outlet chef who has control within that space falls into the number one category. The first
it.
one, because they are seeing things, they appreciate things. But for the guys who are sitting above that, doesn't see, it's always on what is being tracked. So
Correct.
two things come in place. One is we force them to do it, a set of things, three or four things you have to do on all tables. This
Mm.
is forced upon them to do it, and something which happens genuinely in the outlet, which is appreciated by their own managers.
Ah, lovely. Super. So tell me one thing, when we talk about customer satisfaction, what does satisfaction mean to you? What is customer
Average,
satisfaction?
average, satisfied.
Satisfied, average, or he gets what he's expecting.
Yeah, yeah.
Basic service.
With
Correct?
दिख रहा है वो बिक रहा है.
Ah, correct. Very true. So what we do today, that's so tell me one thing, what do we do today that satisfies our guests?
Basic service.
Basic service. Give food on time. Probably your order arrives on time. The music volume is manageable. The server is greeting the guests very politely. The space is clean. It's functional. Nothing is going wrong. Whatever he's ordered, he's getting the correct order. Is satisfying. What is
Yeah.
customer delight according to you?
This is wow.
Wow.
Wow experience.
Wow at every moment of truth.
Wow, with every
Like
moment
the
of truth,
experience we have
right?
shared. Like the
JITU
experience
well.
we have shared. Chennai cab driver.
Yeah. What you never saw coming, but now is remembered forever because that is one thing that drives me. So tell me, as an organization, as a chain that you are, what is that one thing you are currently doing to delight a customer, or what is that one thing you could start doing to delight a customer? See, delight could be very simple. I go to a restaurant very regularly, or once in a while I go to a restaurant, but I'm somebody who's, greeting people, and suddenly he looks at me and says, "Ma'am, ice water for you." He remembers the kind of water that I have. Or, moment he sees me sneezing, he sees me struggling, he suddenly goes ahead and, probably offers me a lemon tea and says that, you know what, a little warm water with lime will probably help you in doing this. Uh, you know, um, or for example, I am in that particular place and you just send me a message saying that, ma'am, in case you're in Palladium, we have come up with a new dish. Would you want to be our guest to try this out for me? Correct. Probably a delight could also mean that we all are friends and we all are, joking, moving around, and suddenly the music changes as per the mood of this particular group, which is a huge group. So it's obviously a delight because that's not something I'm expecting. I want to know from all of y'all, what is it that comes to your mind when we talk to delight? Yes, Ishal.
Okay, sorry. Please.
Doctor, I feel understanding the unsaid, right? That subconsciously what guest needs, that it's important, it's imperative that as a hotelier or as a restaurateur, right, we should focus on as a that because today every second restaurant or every second hospitality company is talking about fulfilling the basic expectation. कि खाना
Correct.
अच्छा है. When you enter in an outlet, when you enter in a restaurant, this is what you're expecting. कि मैं एक brand social और smokehouse दिल्ली जैसे brand में if I'm entering, खाना स्वादिष्ट मिलेगा, सर्विस अच्छी मिलेगी. ये basic expectation है. This is the basic
Correct.
expectation what we have. If you want to move on the next level, right, that delight guest, it's understanding the unsaid, what they look forward for, right,
So what is
unconsciously.
typically that happens in our setup? What is that typical unsaid that we have gone that little extra mile to do?
It is basically customer recognition.
Okay.
There are a lot of stories. A lot of stories.
But I
Respect.
think we're
That what we.
using. Sorry, buddy. After you.
Please go on, go on.
So we are using our data now to create
Mm,
that now. We've got this thing called the loyalty program, right? We've got a thing called the culture manager, right? Aim here is to produce that wow via data and via a resource on at the outlet, which is headed by this gentleman called the cluster manager, or this new wave called the cluster manager, right? Now, for example, um, data through your loyalty, through our dot pay, we know what a customer likes to eat, what he likes, what he prefers not to eat. His birthday is giving him that free bottle of booze on his birthday, right? So we're using all the data now to create a guest delight which is tangible. Yeah, it's not that just that a lot of it's also a lot of stories that are there in the outlet, starting from a like I have a back problem like you do, right? Somebody to give me a cushion for my back, right? I have a child. Somebody to give me the chair for the child, right? Somebody to not charge me the entire portion when I go to a restaurant, but just give me a little bit of a chicken, sauteed chicken on the side. Not stick with recipes. Again, for the from a child, right? Imagine going into a restaurant and the guest and a bartender or your server already knows what you like to drink regularly. So that's your first choice, which the guest put up, which a server puts across, right? If you're somebody not from town, then the culture manager comes in, speaks to you, chats with you, gives you options of what to do in the city apart from just dining and whining at your outlet. Yeah, it could be shopping, could be sightseeing, and then finally is that all the data coming into your loyalty, which is giving you discounts, which is giving that not charging you entry at good events, etc., etc. So I think we're using data very well now to create that.
With you on that, Ikram. My question is slightly beyond this. जो भी आपने बोला is 100% correct. To create that delight element for our customers, we are going that little extra mile from an organization standpoint. This is what we are doing. From an individual standpoint, what have you noticed people doing differently to delight the customer? Have you had experiences within your setup or stuff like this where you saw probably a wait staff, or you saw somebody at the bar counter, or you saw somebody at the probably, the fellow who just opens the door, or the one who takes your reservations? You saw something different that could create a delight element. Anyone who did anything like that? Any experience?
Yeah. So I have a lot of experience. This is a general view. I mean, I will share an example also. Now, like what Ishal mentioned, guest comes to a restaurant only for basic stuff. He doesn't expect anything more unless I mean, whoever's handling the table, or the person who's handling the guest takes an opportunity, uses the opportunity while talking to the guest. If the guest says that, okay, it's my birthday today, or when while making the reservation, what can you do? I'm bringing my wife first time to a restaurant. Then there is an opportunity. Then you use that opportunity to do something better. Or if the guest is drunk, then what you do next? That's an opportunity. Like we have instances like in Sarjapur, where the parents were drunk and the kid knew the house. So the manager, along with one of the hostess, went to the house, dropped them. The kid knew where the key was, and the guest is coming. Last 4 years, they've been coming to us. If there's any issue in the outlet, like we are serving wrong food to the guests, and how we solve the problem also is an opportunity,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Totally. Totally agree. Yes, Isha.
Doctor, I think after listening to Ikram and Alistair, there's something which clicked to me, saying that I think it's a time that where we move from anticipation of a guest need to the intuitive services. Because
Brilliant.
when we say anticipative services, is basically consciously we are thinking that what needs to be done, right? It's all act, and it's all basic behavior that we take a proactive step and we move forward, right, after understanding the situation. But when we say intuitive services or intuitive behavior, is basically understanding the emotional intelligence, understanding that what is expected from that particular guest, what that person is expecting, and delivering that. I think that's the game changer. What we think, what I think personally. So that intuitive behavior is extremely important to develop, or I'll say, to enhance uh,
And how
in
would
our
you
team
typically
members.
do that? If somebody came and asked you that, Isha, I want to, probably build on my intuitive behavior, what would be your input for a person like that?
The basic what I think should start with understanding the basic of emotional intelligence, right? How people react or how people behave in that, right? If you want to delight a guest, right? It's this word seems to be very easily used by a hospitality industry. Everyone talks about delighting the guest, right? Everyone talks about let's delight the guest. Putting a cake or putting a pastry on an anniversary, I'm sure it doesn't delight the guest, right? Because it is expected. You go to any outlet today, they are doing it. From barbecue nations to any, you go to a normal cafe also, they will do it. Oh, it's your birthday, one pastry from our side. That's basic anticipation, right? That happens. It's so common. Doesn't give any wow. But when you understand saying that anticipating a need, right? Uh, this is what it is. But when we say intuitive behavior is understanding that what Ikram said, data. Are you evaluating the data that Hishal prefers? He doesn't prefer. He's a pure vegetarian. He doesn't prefer egg at all, right? Pastries, he's off sugar, right? For example, and then you take a proactive step and understanding saying that okay, today he's having a conversation in outlet. He's having a conversation with his uh, a business partner, but today is his birthday. That coffee and croissant makes a difference instead of giving me a cake. That a free Wi-Fi will play a very important role, right? Maybe it is there, but I'm just saying a free Wi-Fi, exclusive space will play a very important role. So
Absolutely.
when I train my team members, right, or train our team, right, this is what I say. Uh, One basic understanding what I give to my team members is I ask this question to everyone saying that, oh, do you have any special tables in the restaurant? And they say, yes, we have. So, for example, someone will say, yeah, we have a special table which has a swing and people fight for it. I said, that table is for four. They said, yes, the table is for four. I said, if I come for table with eight with my friends and I want to watch an IPL match, I want to enjoy. Now you tell me one thing, that is a special table, but the community table what we have, that's not a special table. Do you think it's wow for me? No, it's not, right? So every table is special, but we have to understand what is the requirement of that guest. And that's the intuitive behavior what we are trying to train people on. Maybe I don't have an exact word to express it,
Sure.
but this is
Yeah.
the behavior what we're expecting from our team member.
Super. And I think one more thing I would like to add, while we are talking about this, is also about conscious listening. Uh, when you're having a conversation, I'm not saying overhear your customers talk, but a conscious listening of your customers does make a lot of difference. I remember going to a restaurant and, we had gone for a friend's wedding shopping. So we had like 8, 9, 10 bags with us. And we were like carrying that bags and moving around. And then finally we decided to go for lunch in one of the restaurants. So we went to the restaurant, we were having our lunch and we said, okay, abhi kahan jana baki hai. And we were talking about it. And while we were leaving, the restaurant manager came and he said, ma'am, I understand you're here for shopping and you've already got like 10 bags with you. If you want, you can drop these bags here and go finish your shopping. Give us a call and we'll drop it at the parking alley. It was like an absolute surprising delight. But of course, the fact that he had heard us speak and he took it from there was something that could have created a delight. But you know what? We're going to get into something even more interesting right now. So, what I want you all to do is very simple. Okay. Individually, I want you all to tell me approximately around 2 or 3 brands, which you genuinely promote amongst your friends, families, or, you comment on social media. It could be a product, it could be a personal care product, it could be a coffee shop, or it could be any non-profit organization, anything. So, can each one of you think of at least one brand? So say for example, I tell you I have, budget is not a constraint. मुझे mobile खरीदना है. Which one would you recommend? What would you say?
MI.
MI? Okay.
iPhone.
iPhone?
OnePlus.
OnePlus? Okay. Say
iPhone.
for example, I tell you I want to buy a television. I have I really need a 80-inch long television because new apartment has a huge hall. Which television would you prefer? I want to buy a smart TV. Which one is good?
Samsung.
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 Samsung. Okay.
Man,
Super.
projector.
And projector. Okay.
Projector, yeah.
Yeah. Now, my question to all of y'all is when you said MI, when you said Samsung, when you said OnePlus, when you said all of this, say, for example, I listened to what you all said. Okay. I heard what you all said, and I actually went to the shop and I picked up a 80 inches Samsung television, or I actually picked up an iPhone, or I actually picked up an MI phone. It's a sale for that store. It's a sale for the organization, the company. They made profit. What did any one of y'all make? Did any one of y'all make even a single rupee? None of us did, right? But yet we went ahead and promoted a particular brand when that Samsung doesn't even know I have an Alistair here who's talking about, or MI doesn't even know I have Alistair who's talking about MI. Or he doesn't even know that I have Ramnik who's saying, probably go ahead and pick up this particular brand, or a Hishal who's telling pick up an Apple. Nobody knows about it. But yet you all so confidently promoted a particular brand. The question that I have for all of y'all is this. In the breakout room, I want you all to discuss, why do you advocate for a particular brand? What are the kind of emotional connections or personal experiences do you have with that brand? And how does that brand even align to your personal values or your lifestyles? And how did you first encounter or get engaged with that brand that made you feel so loyal to that brand? So I'm going to be putting up all these questions in the chat box. But very important that I want to hear your, as a group, what has, probably stood out for y'all that created these things. So, simple questions that I want you all to probably reflect back on. I'm going to put this up in the chat box once you enter the breakout room. And it's going to be a 7 to 8 minute breakout room. Please feel free to have these conversations and let's see what comes out. Roland, have you got the invite? Welcome back, everyone. Now, a quick check. What I would love to hear from all of y'all is, when you were looking at these statements, why do you advocate for a particular brand? What is the emotional connection? What actually stood out for y'all? What did you realize when you were all sharing your points?
Reliability.
Reliability, okay. What else?
Secrecy of data.
Reliability, secrecy of data. What else?
What we understood is every human being has a different requirement. Every
Mhm,
human being has a different expectation, right? For me, for example, it was data security, and I need that ecosystem of a comfort of use, right?
mhm,
Maybe for someone in my group, it was value for money, ready to invest, but it's a hard-earned money. It has to be invested in a much more clear and a much more better place, right?
mhm,
Someone said about that respect is very important for me, right? That genuine connection is important. Giving that acknowledging the presence of elder is important, right?
mhm,
Someone said service after sales is important.
mhm,
So it was very different. Someone said about the options and the variety, what I get, the plethora of options, what you can give that option of a different range, different category. Money is not a concern, but what is the requirement? So I think
mhm.
every human being has a different expectation from a particular brand, which makes the loyalty. It's not one single formula which fits all. I think it's different for everyone. And
Mhm.
this is what we have realized in our conversation. So I think it's
Super,
important.
super. What about the other room?
I think, there are a lot of brands as well. Uh, I think everyone had their own brand fixed in their subconscious mind
Correct, but why?
because of the series of events which has happened with the product in terms of customer service or customer experience, in terms of when they use the product so much more and more comfortable using in it. Again, the value of money, emotional connect, the kind of service what they get, the people they know where they go to the same store and buy the same product. So this all makes it is there in the subconscious mind, even though the product is either it's good, great or not good, doesn't matter. The product gets registered in the mind.
Super. Now, my question to all of y'all is, if you have to analyze whatever you all discussed, how can our organization replica these elements? Because what customer service can be improved purely depends on what is it that the customer is asking for, correct? So, how do we create this brand loyalty that we have so that whether we are there or not there, if anybody has to ask a restaurant, it has to be social. Why would our people, our customers, do our brand advocacy? Why would they create social as a brand? Why would they want to go ahead and build and talk about whenever it comes to restaurant? Are yahin pe jana hai, kahin aur jana nahi hai. Why would a customer recommend when somebody is asking? Why would they do your brand advocacy? What out of everything that you discussed do you think could be leveraged to get the brand loyalty to the next level? What's your quick school of thought?
If I may, right,
Yeah,
another thing
please.
that we have thought of, we were discussing was relatability, right? How relatable can we be? So I think that we talk about we talk about the brand space.
Bro, I can't hear
I
you
feel
well.
we can improve the
I cannot hear him.
Am I audible? Is it better?
Cracking up a little.
Yeah, now it's better. Talk something.
Okay. Okay. Is it better now? Listen.
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, works. Yeah. Thank you.
नहीं थैंक यू बोला तो गायब ही हो गया वो थैंक यू जाने के लिए थोड़ी बोला था उसको भाई थैंक
Sorry.
यू बोला था बिकॉज यू
I
वर
just lost
टॉकिंग नॉट टू
there.
टेल यू बाय
I'm just traveling today. Can't do much.
नो वरीज नो वरीज
So,
हाँ
so I think on a holistic level, I would say relatability is the more relatable can we be to our customer is
Hmm?
something that can be leveraged upon for the customer to relate back to us.
Super. Lovely. Hishan?
Doctor, I think in month of April we had this leadership meet where we got this one word from our leader, right? The North Star, what we got called belongingness from our leader. Riyasa gave us this saying that we have to create that belongingness under for our guest, right? So under the belt of belongingness, we can talk about relatability, we can talk about being emotionally connected, we can talk about positioning the brand well, right? Connecting to the right target, the audience. So I think it comes overall. So I'll still stick to that North Star saying that belongingness is the key to success for us because that's what our the entire intention is. Even if you will see the training modules, what we are trying to create, the conversations what our trainers are trying to have on the floor, right? It's we are still as a training team, we are still far away from that point, but we are developing it. We are nurturing that word belongingness, and we are trying to develop that thing. So I think belongingness will play a very important role for
Super.
us.
Now that you have used the word North Star and belonging next, I'm going to give you something which probably will definitely help you all. When we talk about needs of our customers, how beautifully do we really understand the customer needs? Now, remember, our customer needs could be a stated need where he definitely openly tells you what he really wants. I want a table for two. A very clear stated need. Now, when he says he wants a table for new, there could be a real need, which is actually what does he want, which is different than what he says he wants. Let me explain that to you. Third is an unstated need. He will not tell you this. I'm still sticking with the statement, I want a table for two. But there could be an unstated need below that. There could be what I really don't say, but I really want. And then you have that delight need. I don't say, but it's not even expected, but it comes to me as a surprise. And there is this little secret need that your customer has that he actually, the actual ask that he has that he'll never spell it out to you all. So if I have to decode this, in a simple example, one is your stated need. What is it that your customer really wants? Second is your real need, what he truly is asking behind that. And third is your unstated need. So let's take the example that I spoke to you about. I need a table for two. That's a very clear stated need. This is what he's asking. Now tell me, what is his actual real need? What does he truly want behind that request? What do you think?
Quiet corner.
Brilliant. So a quiet spot to talk privately. Correct? That is actually his need. But he says, I want a table for two near the window. That's all he mentioned. Now, what is an unstated need? What is it that he did not ask for, but still expects very subtly?
AC, non-AC.
Okay.
Non-disturbance. No disturbance.
Like priority, like for service,
Yeah.
priority.
To be seated quietly and not feel rushed. Correct? Because remember, I want a table for two near the window. He very clearly said this. But what his real need was, he wants to have a quiet conversation. He doesn't want somebody to rush him and say, Acha sir, aapko aur kuch chahiye kya, aur kuch chahiye kya, aur kuch chahiye kya. He doesn't want somebody to do that to him. What is that delight need? He's not asked you for it, but something that he'll remember forever. What could that be for him?
The exclusivity and the
Depending.
privacy, what we can offer him during during his conversation.
Or maybe
Okay.
lower volume of music.
Low volume of music, something, a smaller candle, or a surprise dessert on his table, which he's not expected, he's not asked for. Of course, whatever you all are saying is absolutely correct. I've just put a random statement here. But tell me something. What could be that secret need he has, the deep, unspoken desire behind his behavior?
someone should take, after understanding that line, that candle and a surprise dessert, if I understand, someone should be taking care of the partner, the what he, maybe the host. If
Yeah,
I'm the host, the partner whom I'm bringing, someone should give that importance and feel value to that my
absolutely.
partner whom I got in.
एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट नाउ अभी आप ये सोच के देखिए कस्टमर ने तो सिर्फ इतना ही बोला आई नीड अ टेबल फॉर टू नियर द विंडो but did you realize when you actually analyze and go far deeper, it's only then we really understand what the customer really wants. And once we are able to do that, that's when we actually build the trust chain. That's when we talk about those unstated needs that the customer has and we build the trust chain. And what is this trust chain? It's very simple. How engaged and empowered are your people to understand both the task and the purpose of what the customer is saying? He just said, I need a table for two near the window. I mean, how well does my team understand that? Number two, what kind of service am I serving my client? What is his, how do I exceed his expectation? How do I bring that to the forefront? Am I constantly looking at his table? Am I looking at their conversation? Am I making them feel very conscious? And it's also very important that when I talk about the reputation that I'm building, the distinctiveness that I'm bringing, what I'm actually bringing to the table that is going to cost me or value me more. And how do I build that repeat visit? Why would he choose me over competition? Is only when the trust chain is really strong. It also happens because of word of mouth. What am I bringing forward to you? Correct. Now, typically, if you had to reflect back in your system, when does this chain most often break in your space?
Weekends, ma'am. Weekends is when we all here understand that people are coming here to have fun. The mudda and agenda is the same. I'm entering social, it's noisy. Okay, this kind of an experience changes a little because we are an all-day cafe.
Mm.
Like we've been categorized as a all-day cafe and bar just 2 years back on a survey. Till then, we just knew that we were a bar. Okay, we ourselves didn't know we were a all-day cafe. So it's that connect which generally gives everybody a chance during a non-peak hour, or maybe during a time where you can put in the 100%. So my take home, or rather my uh, I know where this thing is kind of lacking and where we need to build on, because that's where we have lesser footfalls. So the quality of service and the quality of food and everything, the experience what you are trying to kind of picture, that has to all start coming in a lean period where we do not make that money. Okay, बाकी तो 7 बजे के बाद सब धंधा करते हैं, and weekends पे
Mm.
तो everybody is making their money. So this kind of an inspirational conversation that you're kind of bringing in will definitely work in our lean hours, and we need to work on a lot. I mean, that being said, service is very important, but having the right mindset of people, the right number of people, that is something that we lack.
Mm.
We don't have the.
No, so tell me something. You all are leaders out here. Say, for example, I had to ask all of y'all that now that you know about this, we spoke about the stated, the unstated, the surprise, the delight, all different kind of needs we spoke about. If you, अभी मैंने तो एक simple example दिया, I need a table for two near the window. If you had to look at the statements that your customers make, what are the other kind of statements that probably could have a deeper meaning, which we have definitely missed completely understanding? I'm sure there would be these statements, right?
Doctor, can you repeat the question?
Okay.
What do you have
So,
to?
like I give you a very simple example right now. I need a table for two near the window. ठीक है ये मेरा एक स्टेटमेंट था आपके लिए आई नीड अ टेबल फॉर टू नियर द विंडो दिस इज व्हाट आई वांटेड बट व्हेन वी डाइसेक्टेड दिस स्टेटमेंट एट मल्टी फोल्ड्स एट मल्टी लेवल्स when we did that we realized that you know what the stated and the unstated needs of our customers the delight needs of our customers was so different उसने तो सिर्फ इतना बोला I need table for two near the window but what he actually wanted was like so much much more deeper So what my question to y'all is what kind of statements do you typically hear which we haven't dissected till now, but now is the opportunity. Let's start thinking on these lines and deep dive more deeper. So, what could be some of these statements that could lead you to a much deeper understanding of your customers?
I think we never get such customers, Doctor. I'll be very honest. The one that you're trying to tell us, that needs a very great psychological, depth in understanding. When you're just kind of, you don't want to discuss. I mean, in our scene, in our social behavior, it's like mudde pe aa jaye yaar. You want a table,
Okay. So
you
tell
want
me,
privacy.
typically, Glaston, किस तरीके के customers आपको क्या statement
So,
बोलते हैं?
so 80-90% of the people will just run down. I mean, just jump down to the point and tell you straight away that I do not want music and I want AC and I do not want a loud table sitting next to me. Simple. That's the basic conversation. Agar if I'm a guy who's working out of my office hours in a CBD area, I want my food within 1 hour because my break time is of a certain time. The ones that you're discussing are the very, very microscopically yes, which I've only noticed in a fine dine. This dude walks to me and Smoker's Alley, and he knows that Smoker's Alley is a fanfare or other. It's a place where you eat everything. You eat everything with buttery, and you eat everything which is healthy and non-healthy also, whatever. So he walks up to the table and he was like not sure about what the menu is, and he was kind of confusing my waiter, like the way this dude who is like, I want a table for two at the window, not being very specific, trying to eat up on his words, trying to kind of gain attention. So then my server couldn't handle it. And I've done this at social also. So I walked up to him and I'm like, yeah, I'm the chef and what do you want? And how can I help you get a better experience on this? So like, chef, you look at me, I'm a health freak, right? I want like grilled meat and some vegetables. And I'm like, yes, so that's there on the menu. It's an option already right in place. So he just wanted attention. So these attention seekers are somebody we do not generally get. We get muddawala people, and I like that about social, and which is why I love the brand. Straight to the point was I want spicy food and end of story, and I want my food fast and end of story, and I do not want that noisy kitty party next to me. End of story. So I do not know the insights. The FOH will probably help you dig in like with cars and they'll have better experience to deal. But mere kaan pe jo aata hai is just this much, and I know I need to work on efficiency and speed.
Super. Anyone else who has had
We
an
have,
experience?
yeah. So now, when a customer has an open-ended
Ask.
ask for an open-ended solution. Say it's it's someone's birthday. Try and make it special. Then there's no limit for that special, right? So then what we do is, I mean, what we have done previously is, so we exclusive place, even if it's for two people, decorate the table with some balloons. Then there's a cake flower. Cake is normal. Then you have flowers on the tables. So when then delights. There's no expectation in a customer's mind, but he's actually wow. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask for anything special. He just mentioned, right? So like there's a lot of instances are there.
Correct.
Uh,
And that's exactly, Alistair, is my question. See, right now you give me a very simple example. He came and he said, "Oh, I have somebody's birthday. We are bringing that person along." Now, sometimes what will happen is you will have a kitty group who has come. Oh, we are coming with a kitty group. And Glaston, I completely agree with you. A lot of times our customer might walk in and say, "Listen, I don't want loud music. I want good food, and we have two Janes on the table, and I want Jane food." There could be stuff like this that happens, but there's still a lot of under table subtle current that passes, which sometimes we miss on scene. Yes, Isha.
Doctor, I completely resonate with Justin what he was talking about because if I talk about specific brand, which is our the spinal cord of our business, social as a brand, right, which is one of the imperative brand what we have, and that's in huge numbers, right? So it's a very fast pace what we work in, right? As the day passes, the tempo is increasing day by day of that of the particular. So what I have realized is it's just 5 months what I've joined the company, what I've realized is it's not about what we do because we keep things very basic in socials, right? But it's soulful, it's comfort, right? This is what we do for look for. But it's not about my understanding is it's not about what we do for them. It's about how we do for them. Means the conversation is khana basic milega hi, but means the point is while serving, what are you saying? What are you talking to them? I think that's where the key to success is. uh, खाना तो स्वादिष्ट मिलना ही चाहिए, बट वो देते समय आप उससे क्या बात कर रहे हो, राइट? हाउ आर यू सर्विंग देम? I think that plays a very important role in fast-paced outlets. It's not about what you do; it's about how you do it. So that should be the focus, or that should, as a training team, at least I'm trying to ensure that my team members should focus on saying that it's not about what we do; it's about how we do it. So
Okay.
that's what.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and share 4 caselets. Okay. So Glycerin, Ikram, Vikas. The first caselet is for the 3 of y'all. Okay. The reason I'm calling out these names is because that's how the breakout rooms have been created. Okay. So what I want y'all to do is any one of y'all, please take a screenshot of what you see on the screen right now. And these are the 4 questions I want you to work on. So this is breakout room number 1, and I called out the 3 names. Let me know when you're done.
Vikas, you're taking the picture? Sorry.
Done? Okay. The second breakout room is with Alistair, Diljit, and Ravnik. So the second screen is for y'all. Please take a screenshot of this.
Done, doctor.
Done? Super. The third breakout room that we have is of Bilal, Rajiv, and Saurabh. This is for y'all, the third breakout room. And this is your caselet. Done?
Yes.
Super. And the fourth breakout room that we have is of Hishal, Roland, and somebody who logged off. Who? Okay, whoever is that third person, I'll put it into your room because we were 3-3 in all the rooms, and I don't know, suddenly somebody has logged off.
That was
Dr.
Vishesh.
Vishesh.
Vishesh has come back. Okay. So Hishal, Roland, and Vishesh. The fourth breakout room is for y'all. And this is your caselet. Caselet number 4. Done? Okay. And you have exactly 10 minutes to look at all these 4 questions, get into the conversation, get into the discussions. And in case you need any help, I'm right here. Hi, Rajiv. Are you able to join the room? Hey, hi. Were you not able to join the room? Welcome back, everyone. And yes, I, I was very keen to hear about the offsite and the big man that we have within us, which I didn't know till all this while. Yes, Ikram.
Nothing, nothing. We all are same. Let's carry on.
Super, super. Okay, so but and I totally agree with you. We were having a very casual conversation where Galaistan mentioned about the offsite that you all are having and how that is going to change the perspective of working. How much do we
Offside?
really know of our people?
When is this offside happening?
Sorry, Gleiston, I didn't know I was not supposed to
Mumbai
talk about
offside.
it.
No, no, we were just planning with Ikram and Vikas, and we said this time it shouldn't be like city-wise, it should be pan India. That
Yeah.
was what we did in session two, I think, of this training. So I was just trying to say that, more than just knowing what we generally do about the company and just work around, we wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
know if you can sing on key, and we wanted to know if you can, yeah, man, cook a chicken dish for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Diljit,
It's
you know what I'm talking about. Up the mountains.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
a lot of times, especially when we talk about offsites, a lot of time knowing your people gives you a little better edge of getting things done. And I so agree with all of you all when you say this because so I used to be director HR at Prudential UK, and I remember one of my team members once, one of my VPs who was reporting into me once he came and said, Anjana, young age में VP बनने का फायदा बहुत है. You know what? I'm planning to get married and buy my own house and all these things. That's what I'm planning to do. And there was a huge project which is coming up, which required dedicated 24 by 7 workaholic person over there. So when he said that, Anjana, can you nominate me for this project? And I'm like, yeah, but do you think you have 2 years time to give to this project? Because I thought you were planning to settle and get married. हाँ नहीं नहीं वो manage हो जाएगा. So while having that conversation with him, when I told him the ask, when I told him what kind of commitment it's needed and everything, he realized that probably, 1 year is okay, but 2 years is going to be difficult for him. He did not opt for the project. Somebody else got the project, they worked on it, but that whole year, this guy did so many different things and opportunities were galore for him because I knew what his ask was, although he was the most competent guy for the project. Correct. So a lot of time we give these opportunities to people. Probably when you're sitting in a restaurant and you find somebody taka taka taka, he's doing something on the tabla or he's banging the table in a particular tune. And imagine, Glaston, you just coming there and saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's do that together." And you start beating the table, and he starts beating the table. Look at the kind of connect you may just land up creating in that whole space that you have. So, totally agree with all of y'all. And I think it's a brilliant idea when you get to know each other much more than what we actually know each other. Okay, so let's go with room number one. And your 4 questions were, what message did Marcus receive? Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to actually take a moment so that everybody knows the scenario as well. So the caselet one was, after visiting weekly for 8 months, Marcus arrived for his usual Wednesday lunch. The restaurant was unusually busy with a corporate event. No one greeted him for the first 12 minutes and was seated. His regular server walked past him twice without acknowledgement. The question that you were to reflect on is, what message did Marcus receive about his value to the business? Where was trust broken in this interaction? What action would have reflected our brand character, and how might we recover this relationship? So, room one, what do we have?
Vikram, go for it.
All right. What message did Marcus receive about his value to the business? That he was not, in fact, the most valuable customer, right? Had he been, none of this would have happened, right? He also felt that, yes, he got a feeling that, yes, that the business quantum of business on a single day is more important to us rather than having a regular guest come over every Wednesday for lunch, right? Where was the trust broken in this interaction? Definitely trust was broken when his cheetah or the server who he knows walked past twice without acknowledgement, right? What action would have reflected our brand character? Gliston had a great idea that one is, of course, he should have been greeted on time, right? And if his go-to server or Sita was busy, he could have allocated somebody else. And to top it up, if there was going to be an obvious delay in proceedings of starting from taking the order to the delivery, could have upped it by taking him, let's say, to the bar and saying, "Sir, we've got a new cocktail menu coming up. Would you like to try some? We would love your feedback," right? And in that process, also take his food order and have that done, but keep him busy by time, which rightly Gliston and Shetty said. And how might we recover this relationship is, again, not doing just the obvious. That is, when next time he comes and we comp his meal, rather what he loves to eat, we send that to him a day or two prior and send him a small note. Possibly also send him a nice scroll with the recipe of the dish that he likes.
Wow.
Right? For example, that's something that we did at ITC when we had the biryanis, rolled out new set of biryanis. We gave everybody the potli masala and a scroll with the recipes. So that's something completely off. That's a wow. So I think we won him back. So I think that's between Shetty, Saab, Kristen G, and
Super.
myself, we've come to a common kind of a.
Fantastic. Lovely. Let's look at case study 2, the caselet 2. So in caselet 2, we said a guest posted a horrible review after waiting 40 minutes for their entry. The post mentioned feeling invisible when trying to get updates and includes photographs of other tables receiving food that arrived later. Within 24 hours, the post had 500 plus shares in the local community. What opportunities were missed before this became public? How does how does this impact guests who haven't even visited us yet? What would a brand alignment response look like now? And what system might prevent the situation in the future?
Okay. So me, Vijit and Alistair were part of this group. I think the first question were what opportunities were missed before this became public. One of the fact that the basic service protocols were not followed. The fact that the guest, if there was a delay, the guest wasn't informed. If the guest followed up, there was no updates. The manager never went back. So the idea to salvage the situation, and delays could have been many. There could have been technical delay. There could have been a manual error also, and which are all part of the business. But the idea was to manage the situation on ground and make the guest feel special, valued, and the fact that they're there spending their time, and to give them, make them feel that their time is also being valued by maybe a way of offering them another freebie or another dish on the menu which they haven't tried, which could come in quicker. So their wait time didn't seem so longer to them. And the opportunity, of course, got missed. The fact that the opportunity to contain this within the four walls of the restaurant, and the fact that the guest could have gone back happy and not gone back feeling so horrible was an opportunity clearly missed. Uh, how does this impact the guests who have not visited? I think the baseline being that those guests will form an opinion based on virality of the post, the fact that about the speed and attentiveness of the service at the brand, and which will have a repercussion on the image of the brand also, about how do they care about their guests who come in, and being attentive to them. And of course, in transactional sense, it was also potential loss of future revenue from guests who hadn't come to us, and also from people who had come to us and possibly would have also seen the post and could have felt that there's inconsistency of service also at this place that they could experience the next time. Brand aligned response, what we understood was the response from the brand side would be,
Correct.
we felt the right thing to do was to acknowledge the miss, because of course, he or she has posted photos as a proof, of course, and the guest is disgruntled. It has gone viral. People are reacting to it, and we assume there would be both sides to the reactions.
Absolutely.
So acknowledge the miss. The idea, the baseline we understood was the fact the guest felt she wasn't heard and she felt invisible. And to acknowledge the miss, to seek to connect with the guest, make them feel heard, understand the problem from their perspective. It's more about sometimes someone ranting you, they just want to rant it out to the right people and they want to know that they're being heard as an organization. So let them give them that opportunity and then take a corrective course for them, whether inviting them back and try to win them back. And what could have prevented this in terms of systems? I think the basic protocols of table check, table touches weren't followed, where a server goes back or a manager goes to the table and checks, if everything's okay. Even upon she mentioned, or he or she mentioned, that they kind of followed up on the food but weren't given an update. So I think proactiveness from the manager also to take care of such a situation never happened. Maybe a communication gap also between the server and the manager, where the information had not reached the manager at all. So these are, I think, a better communication within the teams. The fact that
Better connect within the teams. And also, I feel, when you have your debriefs or when you have your meetings before the restaurant opens or before people are on the floor, probably certain basic checks on protocols. What are those things that we will definitely not do? What are those things we'll definitely take care of? Could be a good start to the whole thing.
Correct.
And, sometimes it really works when at the end of the day, we have a debrief and said, okay, tell us whatever the misses today and how can we ensure those misses don't happen again?
Yes.
Yeah. Super. Let's take caselet number 3. So in caselet number 3, this was our caselet where we said, Elena noticed an elderly person who is a regular customer at the restaurant struggling with her walker. Without being asked, she cleared a path, rearranged tables, and personally escorted her to a quieter section. Later, she overheard the guest telling companions, this was the only restaurant where I feel comfortable dining out anymore. What did what need did Alina recognize beyond the obvious? How might we recognize and amplify these moments? How did the action strengthen the guest relationship with the brand, and what prevented team members from taking similar action?
So I'll take this up on behalf of the team, how we discussed. To start with the first question, what need did Elena recognize beyond the obvious? We have shortlisted about 2 or 3 points, starting with the unstated need of what she might need. The second point was the emotional or psychological need, again, kind of relating to the unsaid things that she wanted help with. Some sense of safety is what we also kind of recognized on this. These were the three broader points. Belongingness, of course, is I think on a broader thing, which is part of everything. Second question, how might we recognize and amplify these moments? We thought obviously empowering the employee is definitely one of the things. Probably in a manner of probably doing a campaign either internally in the team, be like whatever the employee's name is, or do a higher level of recognition in the team, and then promoting more like a program of how we can get that more with every other team members. This is something that we thought into the
Can
second
I add
question.
one more thing? Yeah. So another thing that comes to my mind while you were explaining this is also about helping employees take ownership and not feel insecure that they are stamped over their work. I'll give you an example. So, say for example, I enter a restaurant and I know that, taking order is a responsibility of an X person. Serving water is a responsibility of a Y person. Clearing the plates is the responsibility of a Z person. Now, everybody has their own responsibilities, but I see somebody struggling with something, or I see somebody, instead of going and telling, listen, usko pani chahiye de de. What if I take that initiative and I go and do it? While the other person whose responsibility it is does not feel he has been stamped over, मेरा काम था आपने क्यों किया खुद को बहुत शाना समझता है क्या so, without having that kind of a dialogue or that kind of an ambience or that kind of a culture or that kind of an environment, can we start moving and taking ownership for every customer who walks in holistically? Probably will also make a lot of difference. Yeah,
Okay.
super.
And then the third question was coming in, how did the action strengthen the guest relationship with the brand? The brand obviously created a more personal connect directly with the guest, giving it obviously a memorable experience. Probably strong and some emotional support is also that kind of came along with it. I think empathy, again, going back to the emotional intelligence being given out, the guest felt the brand is quite empathetic towards regardless of your age group and kind of makes everyone feel comfortable. And then the fourth question was what prevented other team members from taking the similar action? Between a couple of us, one was if the employee didn't feel empowered enough to take the ownership, like you were saying, that was one of the points. Rajiv very rightly mentioned, some have that psyche, which is efficiency over empathy. That is
Mhm.
also something that people can think about. And then it could be just very basic lack of awareness of attentiveness of being around a table. These were the broader three categories that we thought what would have stopped an employee from kind of being so empathetic towards the guest.
Super. Okay, and let's go to the last caselet that we have. And the last caselet is where we talk about a business guest mentioned to three different staff members that the music volume made conversations difficult during weekday lunches. Each server politely acknowledged the comment but explained this couldn't be adjusted. After 6 visits with the same experience, the guest stopped booking business meetings at the restaurant. What didn't this feedback translate to why didn't this feedback translate into action? What message did the guests receive about the input? Where was the trust broken here? And how might we create better feedback loops?
Vishesh, would you like to take it?
No, no, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Roland, would you like to take the opportunity? Okay. So, Doctor, we did this. We had this discussion, and hypothetically, what we understand is that if I summarize the entire scenario, that there's a regular guest who comes in, right, and the person he's having a very important meeting, and he suggested saying that to reduce the volume, and not a single team member reacted to it. And apparently, on the sixth time, right, he decided that he will not come, right? And the question is, why didn't this feedback translate to action? Hypothetically, we understand or we came to a conclusion. Maybe the restaurant is very transactional and a very SOP driven.
Yeah,
So there is no emotion connected to it. It's very transactional. Give money, take the services, whatever standards we have, believe in it. You
yeah. Take
like
it or
it,
leave
deliver.
it. Yeah,
Take it or
my
leave
way
it,
or
or
the
you
highway.
go,
With you on
right?
that.
So that is the first approach. This is what I believe in, right? And second, what message did the guests receive about their input, saying that they are not bothered about the guests' expectations. They are more focused on the standard, or
Hmm.
they are more focused on the current ambience of the outlet. They are not understanding the guest emotion or the requirement. So the guest expectations are not met. Neither if there is a opportunity, right? If maybe a guest has decided they cannot go down, even the alternative was not given to them. That
Hmm.
alternative is not given, saying that okay, sir, this table is quite a little noisy. Maybe you can sit here, means in open air or something that sort. Alternative solution could have been provided. Even that was not done. Uh, because of this, the trust is broken for sure, right? The trust is broken, and what I feel is how might we create a better feedback loops? What I feel is we will me Vishesh and Rulen, we discussed in two ways, right? The first way what we discussed about is when we talk about face to face feedback, right? It's important to even capture the smallest of the thing, the subtle way of saying it, right? Or maybe indirect conversation, reading between the lines. It's extremely important to have a conversation, right? Understanding when we say 100% listening, it's not only about the words, it's also about the tone, it's also about the body language, right?
Yeah.
To read that. So I think that's one of the most important things what we should train our team members on, or what we should have a discussion on with that. The second thing is when we talk about the online feedback or the paper feedback, this is what my and Vishesh's perspective is, right? Maybe we are wrong here, but this is what our perspective is. Sometimes we feel the feedback mechanism or the feedback form which is used, we don't see any science behind it, right? That why this question has asked. For example, I have worked with a particular brand where the feedback form, designing a feedback form was completely NLP driven. Neuro linguistic programming was
Yeah, yeah,
used
yeah.
to have it,
Hmm.
right? But in the restaurant industry, we don't see any tool used here, right? It's and when we talk about the rating system, it's we are talking about emotion intelligence here, right? And the feedback what we are asking on is 1 to 10. There's no science behind it, right? Rate me between 1 to 10. Are you happy with the feedback? Means it doesn't make sense there, right? Are we even discussing about the emotion? Second thing, as a hotelier or as a restaurant or as a service industry, we are all scared of open-ended questions. This is what my perspective is. We don't give open-ended questions to answer, right? We give those close-ended because यार खाना खाने के बाद में वो बैठ के टाइप थोड़ी करेगा, उसको तो फटाफट करना है. तो आपकी रेटिंग सिस्टम भी there is a challenge in the rating system also between 1 to 10, the numerical one. There is no emotion to it. And when we talk about, we are not even giving them an open-ended to express their emotion. We
We're
even
not
don't
giving them the choice to choose whether they want to.
yes, and on top of it, what we do with that data? Are we using it in a very scientific way? Are we there's a lot of things happening behind the scene, right? Are we actually taking a deep dive into the conversation, right? Understanding it, or we just say, okay, one more negative, put a pastry there. One more negative, okay. Next time he comes and give 20% discount, or there's a science behind it, right? That so So I think this is where we need that transition in the industry, or that transformation is required on this point. Because when we are talking about emotional driven business, hospitality is emotional driven business, no doubt about it,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Hands down.
We are talking about emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is not only about the team member, because today team members are scared to take a feedback. यार
Correct.
अगर मैंने फीडबैक लिया कुछ गलत आ गया तो मेरी तो हालत टाइट कर देगा मेरा रेस्टोरेंट मैनेजर, राइट? दे आर स्केर्ड टू टेक अ फीडबैक, right? So I think that's where the change in approach is required, that confidence and that is required, saying that hey, kuch ho sakta hai, right? That change, the overall change is required. It's not only the feedback system, it's not only the training people on emotional intelligence, but I think the holistic approach is required here. That change is required. So this is what me and Vishesh and Roland came to a conclusion.
Quite interesting. Quite
But
interesting conversation.
this will always happen in the hotel industry. But the challenge here is because the kind of people that we interact and get into the system. You do not throw almonds. I mean, you throw peanuts to get monkeys. And I'm not saying we hire monkeys, but the people that we kind of get, the mindset that they come from is quite difficult to, even if you have like a full-fledged data-driven dashboard, this purpose will never kind of get I mean solved, you know. The only thing that can be solved is basics. Atiti Deva Bhava is something that, you know,
Getting
has
your
to be
DNA in the
drilled.
right place with you, with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, because you know how much of a data gives. For me, it's very, very simple. It's very straight to the point. I know the service, the feedback. I'm saying how much of that feedback do we give the employees, the people on the real ground? We give this feedbacks on Excel sheets. So when the people who are on the real ground, they don't even understand Excel sheets. So my thing is for everybody on this platform to kind of break it down to the guy who does not even understand to read. How do you take this kind of a scenario of that guy on a wheelchair to a guy who's like cleaning my toilets and washing my utensils? That is something as opposed to reacting to the huge data-driven AI systems on customer feedback and all of that.
Yeah. True,
So
true.
for me, it's like how grounded and driven anybody on this platform is. You know, for me, it's how easily it is explained to a guy who does not even care about this algorithms and Excel sheets. You know, so this is something that will never come into the industry, at least in the city that we are, or rather in the country that we are, because we look at empowering and employing these people with like a very crazy mindset, you know. And if you're looking at, I worked on a cruise liner, I worked on land abroad, and the kind of mindset, the people that you get, it's natural, right? The
Yeah.
the upbringing, the civilization is natural. When you do not throw things on the road abroad is civic sense, right? So that civic sense doesn't come into the place we are, and that's
What surprises me, Glycin, I totally agree with you. And what surprises me is the same set of people, when they are in a different environment, the functioning is so different. So, like when you're traveling in a domestic airline, moment the airline lands, everybody is standing, waiting to get out of the aircraft as if you're unne wala wapas. But same thing, when you're traveling internationally, row by row, people get up. Nobody is bothered getting up. मेरे को पता है आगे वाला उठेगा उसके बाद ही मुझे उठना है. And it is so systematic. And these are the same people who will fly probably Bombay, London and do that. But when they are flying, Bombay, Ahmedabad, they'll be the same people who will be pulling their bag, pushing 10 people and going ahead. So it's the environment which is actually causing this whole thing. What are we setting our people up for is going to make a lot of difference. So culturally, what do we bring to the table? Yes, he should.
Doctor, I think what Glisten was saying and the inputs from you, what I understand is right. I think it's not only about the Excel sheets and data what we are trying to push here, right? आपको टीम मेंबर को ये बताना है कि करना क्या है, उनको पता है कि करना क्या है, उनको ये बताना है कि कैसे करना है. द सेम
Exactly.
एग्जांपल व्हाट आई एम गिविंग यू, राइट? हम वो ही नहीं बता रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू विल सी टुडे, आई हैव स्पोकन टू इन 5 months, आई हैव स्पोकन टू सो मेनी बॉयज वेयर दे से, सर मुझे पता है कि मुझे खाना डिलीवर करना है सही टाइम पर, राइट? मुझे पता है कि मुझे पानी देना है, राइट? हमें बोला जाता है कि पानी जाके दो. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम नॉट कोटिंग हियर एनीवन, आई नीदर आई एम कोटिंग ऑपरेशंस, एक्सक्यूज मी, राइट? बट हमें ये नहीं बोला जाता है कि प्यार से पानी दो, हमें बोला जाता है पानी दो। हमें ये नहीं बोला जाता है कि प्यार से खाना जाके सर्व करना, थोड़ा दो दो बात करके आ जाना उसके लिए। हमें ये
Yeah.
बोलते हैं फटाफट जाके खाना डाल के उसके टेबल पर।
Ah, correct. True.
But so when we are talking about, when I use this word called NLP, right? It's a very neuro-driven business, right? What we are talking
Absolutely.
about. So the
Absolutely.
language what we use, right, to express yourself, right, to express, that's it. It has a different outcome altogether, right?
Absolutely.
So when we are talking to our team members, right, this is what we have to train our restaurant managers on, saying that कि आप उसको बोलोगे ना ये कि खाना डाल के, तो वो खाना डाल के ही आएगा। आप उसको ये बोलोगे ना कि खाना प्यार से दे के गेस्ट को, तो वो प्यार से देगा। So
Exactly.
it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. The focus is
Correct.
on how always.
Yes.
So
And
that's what.
I totally second whatever you all said. And you know what? What is really important for us to also look at is there are common patterns where our trust gets broken. You know, when there is a disconnect between feedback and action, I tell you something, but you don't bother listening to me, there is a break of trust. There's a break of trust that happens, when I look at it from a completely different mindset or completely different outlook perspective. So, trust completely breaks when there is a weak recovery, when the services break down. Trust is always breaking when there is this invisible moments that are being created, inconsistent recognition about people. So trust in our industry breaks multifolds. So I'm going to end today's session with this beautiful video. And sorry, give me a second. I'm wondering why this is. Okay. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay. Give me a second. I'm not sure if the audio was shared. Okay.
I will never
Is it audible?
forget that cup of coffee. Well, a couple of years ago, I was traveling when my schedule worked out on Christmas Eve. I thought the airport was going to be a zoo, so I got there a couple hours early. It wasn't crowded at all, so for me, that means coffee. So I get down into my Terminal D, and I see the green sign. And when I travel these days, I always wear earbuds, so I'm rocking out to Coldplay. And I see the sign, I get in line, and there's one woman in front of me, and she's having a very animated conversation with the barista. She's kind of waving her arms, and they're both smiling and laughing. So I wasn't in a rush, but out of curiosity, I popped out my earbuds. And sure enough, they're going on about their holidays and their plans and the kids and presents, and she starts to move down the line. So it's my turn to order. And I was greeted with this very warm and sincere welcome. This woman said to me, "Hi, my name's Lily. What's your name?" I said, "I'm Ryan." She said, "Ryan, what can I make for you today?" I said, "Well, I want a grande pumpkin spice latte." She said, "You want whipped cream on that, don't you?" I said, yeah, I want the whipped cream. She said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do." She said, "I'm going to make it extra hot, load it up with whipped cream, sprinkle a little nutmeg on top. That's how I like it. You're going to love it." I said, "Sounds great." She said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Cleveland." She said, "Are you going back to Cleveland to spend the holiday with your family?" I said, "Yes." Now, at this point, I start looking around for the camera, right? I'm trying to get a latte. So I move down the line, and the conversation continues, and she's funny. She's asking me questions about my family and our holiday traditions. She's laughing, and I'm laughing, and she hands me my drink and says to me, "Ryan, have a safe trip back to Cleveland. Go create some extraordinary memories with your family. When you come back through the Minneapolis airport, I want you to stop here and tell me all about it." As I get my drink, I start walking away, and I stop and I look back at this woman, and I think to myself, it's Christmas Eve. Most people would rather be anywhere else in the world than serving coffee in an airport. Not her. It was like she was meant to be there. And I couldn't help myself. I had to go back. So I did. I walked back and I said, "Excuse me, Lily." And she jumps around. "Ryan, is everything okay with the latte?" I said, "No." I said, "The latte is perfect. I just had to come back and ask you, what is your secret to making such meaningful connections over serving coffee? Well, she corrected me. She's right. I'm not serving coffee. I said, okay, what are you doing? She had thought about this. And what she told me was, I'm pouring happiness into people's lives. I said, you're pouring what? Like, what is pouring happiness? And her definition of pouring happiness, she wants to be happy in her life. She wants to be around happy people. She cares about her customers. She wants them to come back. So she chooses, even on Christmas Eve, to smile, to have fun, to help people, to just be happy. Instead of just focusing on how to be successful, focus on how to be helpful. The other thing she understands and masters straight away is the very specific and intentional decision around how she chooses to show up, even on Christmas Eve. You know this. A lot of things happen in work and in our lives that are beyond our sphere of influence or control. She doesn't control the weather in Minneapolis. Trust me, I live there. All she gets to own is how she chooses to respond to those things. Decide how you show up. You know, it's interesting, when I met Lily, and she would have had no way of knowing this, but I was pretty heavy in the heart and had a lot on my mind. My parents, both retired school teachers, married 45 years. About 3 months before that holiday, I got a call from Mom. We got some really tough medical news about Dad. It was a terminal diagnosis, and we knew we probably weren't going to have a lot of time. So I was sitting in that airport on Christmas Eve, not in the best place in the world. I will never forget that cup of coffee. When you decide to show up consistently as the best version of who you are, it gives you your best opportunity to meet people where they are. And you never know when someone needs you to be your best. I will never forget.
So, that's what we all are talking about. Are we showing up the way we want to show up? Are we really doing what we have to do? And how are we taking it further ahead? So, at the end of the day, it's all about showing up. It's all about making sure that I'm there for the people, I'm doing what I need to do. And that's exactly what we spoke about today, the different broken plots that we had, and how do we take it further ahead? How do we bring it further ahead? Correct? So, what does delight mean for you in one particular word? If you had to put it across, what word would it be for you all? What does delight really mean?
Wow.
Wow,
Happiness.
happiness, correct?
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable,
Satisfaction.
satisfaction,
Keeping the promise.
keeping the promise. Wow.
Money.
Because always, yes, remember this. People will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And what you need to do as a homework is try and schedule 15 minutes of a team huddle to discuss what are those micro moment opportunities that you captured on a particular day. I mean, is there anything that you can celebrate with your team members when we talk about brand ownership? And what are the kind of feedbacks that you're receiving? And what are we really doing about those feedbacks that we receive? So that's a quick homework for all of y'all. But thank you so much. I had a brilliant conversation with all of y'all, and there's so much that I learned from each one of y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great week ahead till we meet again. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank